The reason why heirloom varieties survived into the modern age is because they taste better, and that's what you're paying for. It is tomato season. Today we are going to try to get to 6 farms on the North Fork to learn all about and to buy heirloom tomatoes.
Sungold Farm candy. They're so good.
Rose Andrews is part of the 6th generation of Andrews farmers.
Everyone says the same thing. I'm like, oh, do you want a bag for that? They're like, no, it's not going to make it home. I'm like,
She runs the stand while her brother works the farm. These are samples of Andrews heirloom tomatoes, $4.49 a pound, which is actually an amazing price. You can sort of tell the difference between an heirloom variety and a hybrid variety. So, what is an heirloom variety? In the olden days, from the dawn of agriculture until the middle of the 20th century, farmers developed varieties by saving seeds from plants that were the hardiest or the most delicious. Today, we refer to those varieties as heirlooms to distinguish them from modern crops which, for the most part, were developed in a laboratory. We call those hybrid varieties. Now, the goal of most modern plant genetics is not to produce the most delicious fruits or vegetables, but to produce ones that are the easiest to grow, have the highest yield, are most resistant to pests, are consistent in size and shape, that will mature at the same time, and that can stand up to a lengthy shipping process and will arrive at your supermarket undamaged. This is all good for the farmers and the supermarket's bottom lines. It's not so good for the taste of the tomato.
one of my favorites right here is the Marnero.
Heirloom tomatoes are bred for one thing: great taste.
It's a nice hearty heirloom, perfect for a tomato sandwich. Another large heirloom is the yellow Brandywine. It's a little bit sweeter than the Marnero, but it definitely has a similar taste. I mean, our customers, they usually go for the yellow or orange tomatoes because they know that they're sweeter.
Many yellow tomato varieties lack the acid that you find in red ones, so they taste sweeter. But that often means that the flavor has a lack of complexity. It's like the difference between white wine and red wine. Another indicator of taste.
I think the uglier the heirloom, the better it tastes.
Well, ugly, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder.
Yes, funky on the bottom, but I always say the more funky, the better the taste.
Pro tip. Wait, show the bottom again. Fibrous tangles on the underside of an old German tomato means good flavor, according to John Zilnicki, a 4th-generation farmer at Zilnicki Farms in Riverhead.
Slice it up, a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt, just a little bit. And honestly, steak knife and a fork. Keep it simple. No
chance I make it home without tomato juice on my shirt.
Oh, God.
The next stop is a new farm for me and for the North Fork. Jamesport Farmstead is only in its 2nd year of production.
We select one single leader that we twirl around this sisal twine here, and that produces a smaller number of more nutrient-dense tomatoes.
Oh, that's pretty darn good. Most of Ryan's tomatoes are grown in greenhouses with the same setup, the heavily pruned vines growing up twine suspended from the ceiling.
The row behind us is called Green Zebra.
I love green zebra.
Yeah, this one's very much ready. They get a little yellow on their shoulders, and you can tell by their softness. These are Marbone, Green Zebra, German Johnson, Pink Lady, Valencia. The final one here is Speckled Roman, which is my personal favorite.
The speckled Roman is what's called a paste tomato. With a lower water content, it's great for making sauce. The Italian variety, San Marzano, is the world's most famous paste tomato. So this is your go-to caprese
Absolutely, yeah.
tomato.
Primarily because it's more fleshy than juicy.
A few more varieties in my bag, and we're on to another new farm for me, Tribor in Peconic. Tribor grows an exotic paste tomato, the dramatic, nearly black Midnight Roma. It really does look like a plum.
Almost looks like an eggplant.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite tomatoes.
And it's called?
It's called the Garden Peach. It's not just a clever name, it's actually kind of fuzzy. Like a peach.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that nice?
The farm was established in 2014 by father and son duo Peter Tribors Sr. and Jr. Now, Deep Roots is one of my North Fork standbys.
Wow, I didn't realize all these ripen. I really got my work cut out for me tomorrow.
But it's a treat to chat with Tom Hart, who I never see. He and his partner, his mother Michelle, are so busy working that they are usually in the field. How many varieties of tomatoes do you grow here?
Probably about 50 or 60, probably up to 80. Some of them we just do for sales, and then the rest we grow ourselves as well.
The farm stand itself is self-serve, and they just started taking Venmo. We have arrived at Tomato Nirvana, KK's The Farm in Southold. It's the North Fork's only biodynamic farm, founded by KK Haspel and her husband more than 20 years ago. This is the
Japanese black trifle or trifle, however you pronounce it. And it is dark, one ripe, mahogany, and full tomato taste. This is one of our best tasting tomatoes.
Biodynamic farming is a holistic system of agriculture designed to harness the forces of the sun, moon, planets, and stars, and focus them on the earth and its plants.
Montenegro is this shape.
Oh, wow. That's almost like a life raft.
Yeah, because it's actually hollow inside. You see all the hollow spaces here?
KK died in 2014, but Ira carries on in her memory, and I have come to think of him as Long Island's tomato whisperer. There's no harder job than farming. This time of year, it's 12-hour days at least, and heirloom varieties are the hardest to grow, requiring all the commitment and ingenuity a farmer has to get them to maturity when the weather and the pests may have different ideas.
They just harvested these this morning, and the whole time I was going through them, that was my breakfast. I eat a lot of tomatoes.
Heirloom varieties tie farmers to a time before industrial agriculture, and it strengthens their connections to the first 10,000 years of human farming, when it was on a smaller scale and it was focused on feeding the local population. Then, of course, there's the incomparable taste of a locally grown heirloom tomato.
To be eaten with your hand.
And now's the time to get them.
Well, there's a saying, you only need one word for a good tomato, and that is August.